Thanks everyone for joining this Visual FoxPro Database Migration Tech Talk series event. This is the first of 7 events for this topic. Hello again, I'm Joe Raffinelli. I am the Director of Technical Solutions here at Microsoft. We are a customized software development company located in Parsippany, New Jersey. Our focus is migration services, basically migrating old to new. I'm here with Imran. He's our VP of Migration Services. We're going to be discussing database migrations from a holistic view. There'll be other topics, like I said, later. I'm going to open up the session with a few questions, sort of some warm-up questions for Imran. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the audience to put some questions on the chat, and then we'll take the conversation from there. I want to thank everybody once again for joining. Imran, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you, Joe. Hi, I'm Imran Salahuddin, VP Migration Services at Microsoft. I have a long relationship with FoxPro and VFP. I learned dBase 3 Plus and FoxPro in early 90s, and I participated in development of medium to large scale VFP projects. And now I am leading the VFP migration practice at Microsoft.
You definitely have the experience. I know firsthand. So first question I have for you, we have a lot of clients and we've spoken with them over the years. Basically, they're very comfortable with their current VFP database, right? And they always say to me the same thing. It works very well. So my first question is, why would you suggest for them to migrate now?
Joe, that is correct. VFP served very well in business application and still doing good as of today. VFP was one of the very good databases in past. It was one of the best tools were used for rapid application development. Microsoft stopped the support in 2007, and there are no updates since then. So VFP is now facing some challenges, which are risks to the business continuity. There are very less resources available in industry to support VFP applications, and they are decreasing naturally as people learn modern technologies. They don't want to learn the old technologies. Security requirements are greatly increased. VFP is file-based database and less secure. There are challenges in complying to new data security regulations. VFP database has size limitations as well. A table cannot exceed 2 gigabytes of data, and this results in question of scalability. FoxPro is a 32-bit application, and world is moving towards 64-bit.
There's definitely a lot of reasons to migrate. I think decreased security is probably one of the main, is probably just enough to make the switch, alone. So I appreciate that. So what target database do you suggest and why?
VFP database can be migrated to any modern database. SQL Server is the most popular one among VFP users. Both are Microsoft products. SQL Server is the most common database in Microsoft-based IT ecosystem.
Definitely from my experience, a lot of folks are definitely going to SQL database. So I know that's very, very popular. So other questions we get is the challenges. What are some of the challenges that you have when you're doing database migration?
Consolidation of data is one of the challenge. VFP DBF has the limitations of 2 gigabytes of data. Large applications uses multiple tables to keep transaction data of last 20 years. Development and working with confidential data is another challenge. Clients do not want to use confidential data during the development process, especially if the development is being done outside of their organization. Large VFP applications can be migrated into different in different phases. Synchronization of data between a new database and the legacy database is critical. This sync process should be developed and executed with extreme care.
So I know confidentiality is huge for all our clients. It's a huge, huge concern. How do we typically handle, the confidentiality piece of when you're doing a migration?
This is a very important aspect of migrations. First of all, we ask our clients to provide us sample data not their production data and not the full size data that they have for the development work. In some cases, client provide us encrypted or anonymized data so that the data security and the safety will not be compromised, and the development can be done using some real data. Working with encrypted data is often a challenge. In testing and in development, both, we have to take a very good care of it. If it is required, Microsoft uses its own tool to anonymize the required data.
It sounds like Microsoft is taking confidentiality to that next level, so that's appreciated. I had one more question before we go to the chat with the folks. When you're doing a database migration, is it like a one and done thing, or is it one of these things where it's a process over time?
Joe, this requires to understand the VFP migration lifecycle, database migration lifecycle. So VFP DB can be migrated in one go. But in real world, we plan this migration from the start of the development work till new application rollout to production. To start development work, VFP database is migrated to SQL Server database and provided to the development team. There can be some modifications to database during the development process. All the changes and logic to migrate data is updated in the plan and in the target database. Migration process is executed one final time to get new production database ready before decommissioning VFP database.
It sounds as if it's a long process. So if folks going to dive into this, they're probably going to need, going to need some help there. So I appreciate that answer. So we're at a point where I had my questions that I had you answered my question. So at this time, what I'd like to do, I'd like to ask the audience to go ahead and ask your questions via the chat, and then we'll answer them real time. Okay, first question, I'll just read it out loud. What are the typical timeframes for a migration?
It depends on application and the database size. Database migration can be done in one day, but in the real world project, it requires 4 to 8 months for a medium sized project.
That makes sense. Okay, see if we get another question here. Okay, so just talks about the tools. Are there any database tools you recommend?
There are some tools available in the market for data migration in general. There are very few tools for specific to VFP database migration. Microsoft uses its own tool, Datamorph, that is specifically developed for VFP database migrations.
It sounds like that'll speed up the migration even more from there. Thank you for that. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions. Okay, third question we have here. Can folks try the database migration tool or dbmorph tool online? Can they actually go on it and just try it?
Yes, Datamorph is available on our website. Anyone can download it and try it out with some limitations, but they can try it.
Okay, it sounds like something that folks would want to do. Obviously, you try it before to make sure it works, make sure you understand it. If there's any questions, obviously, folks can give Microsoft a call. Okay, we're waiting for another question here. We're getting a few at a time, so we'll wait another couple seconds and see if we have any more. Okay, I'm seeing that there's no more questions. I want to again thank Imran for his time and his expertise. And I want to thank the audience for their questions and for their time as well. I want to leave you guys with this. If anybody has any questions about what we discussed, you can go ahead and reach out to me. If you want to better understand, a migration and potentially a quote, you can reach out as well. As you can see, we have a slide up here with my information. And I just want to thank everybody one more time for their time. And please look out for additional topics for database migration. Again, this is the first of 7, like I said in the beginning. For now, thank you guys so much. Take care
Thank
now.
you.